I don't even know how to say it. They're beautiful shoes. The new Nike Justin Timberlake collab. And Wade, I'm going to let you take it away because they are on Fairway Jockey. I think they go on sale
Yeah,
tomorrow
so
on Fairway Jockey.
correct. So it's the Regio del Sol, or Di
Okay.
Sol, I should say. So it's this guy here.
Yeah, it's a nice piece.
And so honestly, it's a really beautiful looking shoe.
Boys are back in town, fully equipped. Episode 283. There is K-Mac, there is Wade, and the handsome guy over here is Johnny Wunder here in Toronto, the Toronto studio here in Kitchen North. The fully equipped podcast
Kitchen
brought to
North
you by
USA.
what's that?
Kitchen North USA.
Kitchen North, Toronto, Ontario, potentially a 51st state.
Potential.
Potentially. This show, this podcast is brought to you by Golf Pride, gentlemen. Align Max, which Wade is going to display for us now in camera. Yes. The newest
There
addition
it
to Golf Pride's
is.
raised ridge technology. Look at all the raised ridge on that grip. It's a firmer ridge that runs the full length of the grip for increased hand placement and shot making versatility. 25% Kris McCormack, larger than original Align for maximum consistency. Basically, it's face control, ladies and gentlemen. It's locking that face in for a sound grip, for sound feel, very much like what Ben Hogan, the greatest ball striker that ever lived, used to do with a coat hanger. It's for face control and actually attempting to hit a good shot. If you have any more questions, go to golfpride.com. I'm a big advocate for the rib grip. I know you are, K-Mac, and of course, Wade is. Really excited about his new grips that he put on his Mizuno 243s. Okay, well, gentlemen, let's start. I'm going to go around the horn here. Kris McCormack is, where are you? And tell us what you're doing and why you're doing it. Where are you right now?
Currently, Anaheim, California. It should come as no surprise. Just embraced the full nerdism and came to Disneyland last night for Star Wars night in Disneyland. So that was all of the people came out of their parents' basement, came to Disneyland, celebrated Star Wars, and it was a blast, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Question.
Wade.
Yeah, yeah.
Question. Why was Star Wars not on May 4th?
They have one on May 4th, but
Okay.
they are going to capitalize on the monetary opportunities for
Got it.
private events and basically host multiple Star Wars nights around May 4th.
Okay, so if you had to choose any color of lightsaber, what would you choose?
Oh, red. It's not even a question.
Okay. Who is
See,
your
that's
favorite
funny that you
Star
say that. What about you, Wade? Where do you go on the lightsaber thing?
I'm a green guy.
So am I.
Yeah, going green?
And I'll
Yeah.
explain why. It was the first different one because we were so used to seeing green and red, and Return of the Jedi, which was supposed to be Revenge of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi came out, and I remember when I was a kid, I got the book, like the movie book, before I saw the movie, like a month before. I was at like Bon Marché or some fucking department store with my mom, and I bought it, and Luke Skywalker had a green lightsaber. And it absolutely blew my hair back. And ever since then, I've been a green lightsaber. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know the swing weight. I wanted to know the loft. I wanted to know everything. So, Wade, nice to know that you're a green guy versus our little evil friend there in the right corner. That's obviously
That's it.
raging with rage in the red lightsaber. So, we can just go.
That's it.
Just let the rage go. Join
Yeah,
us.
let it go, dude. It's not your fault, Kris. It's not your fault.
It's not my fault. It's
It's
definitely
not
You
Wade's
know what
fault.
is red? You know what is red though? The raised 25% extra raised ridge from Gold.
Hey, shout out Golf
That's
Pride.
what it is.
25% larger. Okay, so we got a lot to cover today. But you guys did a little what's in the bag video for Wade. But the one thing that I want to know to kick off the show,
Yeah.
and I haven't asked you this yet, K-Mac, going into the season, at least the season in the North, what is in Kris's bag? Just give me a quick fire through.
Man, that depends on which bag.
Well, the one that you would actually
I
want to go play good golf with.
I mean, we've talked about this with so much gear to test. If I'm going to play golf today, I am going to put in the bag RTZ wedges, my Bentonardi, really sick, awesome CB antidote putter that they made for me. The Cobra 3DP irons, rocking G440 Fairway woods, and then I have a Titleist T200 kind of modified driving iron slash 4 iron that I'm playing. And then the Callaway Elite Triple Diamond Max is in the top side of the bag. And then
Wow.
I'm going TP5X for golf ball.
Interesting on the golf ball.
Yes, sir.
Can you do that? Can you hit a Callaway driver? Can you hit a TaylorMade ball with a Callaway driver that it doesn't implode? It doesn't like.
It makes a different sound off the tee, but it says some derogatory things about my mother every time I swing it. But it works.
You hit it and it
I
goes,
like
"Fuck
it.
you."
It's something very similar to that, but despite the acoustic feedback I get, the results are pretty favorable.
I'm surprised at this point the companies haven't done that yet. Like there's just a slight little modification if you hit a TaylorMade ball and a Callaway driver, a Titleist and a ping. It's like there's just some acoustic little nuance that they add in. It's a little whisper in your ear going, "You idiot." Yeah.
I mean, they have acoustic engineers at all of these companies. I feel like they could do that. I feel like that's a thing. It's coming. It's coming. One thing I can't do, I can't put a swag head cover on that Bentonardi putter. I just feel like that is
No, that would be dumb. That would be stupid.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. That Betty needs to rock a Betty cover, and that's that.
No, wait, I did that
to pivot in totality.
I know Wade's team Bentonardi.
But are suede head covers big enough where you can put them on any? Is it more of a putter head cover company than it is a putter to me? You know what I mean? Like, can you just is it known as a putter cover company now where you could just put a swag cover on anything? Are we there yet
swag,
with swag?
Yeah, swag has covers for everything. Yeah, they have covers for the entire bag, except for iron covers. I mean, thank God they haven't done that.
As far as we know. Well,
as far as we know.
The reason I asked the question about what's in the bag for K-Mac is because I know after a long, arduous journey back and forth between the warehouse over there at Fairway Jockey, that Wade was able to procure a new set of irons. And talk to us about the new irons that you have, Wade, because I know I have a set coming, but you just got a new fancy set. What are they and why are they there?
Yeah, so after we did our episode a couple of times ago with Ian Fraser, he was talking very highly of his 245, 243 combo set. And so me being the psychopath that I am, he and I started talking on the side as well. And I'm like, I really like these Cobra 3Ds. And he's like, you got to try these. They're such great irons. You'll love them. So the guys at Mizuno heard us talking about it, hit me up and said, hey, do you want a set to try and see how they go? So they sent them. They sent the heads to me. So I now have I just built them up last night. So got a set of 245 in the 4-iron and 5-iron, and then I've got the 243 the rest of the bag.
Wow.
They've still got the plastic. Nice. And I really like these ferrules, though. They're kind of cool.
Ooh, those are a nice touch.
But yeah, so I haven't hit these yet. Done a bunch of testing with the 6-iron because I got a 245 and 243 in the 6-iron and did testing there, and 243 was the way to go in the 6-iron to put the break in for the combo set. But at address, these look incredible. Like I can't wait to go hit them. I started playing golf with Mizuno, and I don't know. I just love the Mizuno iron, so we'll see how they go.
What was the first, Kris, I'll ask you first, what was the first, because to me, Mizuno irons are the first rite of passage of like,
yes.
I'm at 48 years old, you guys are a little younger, but for me, I'll start since I'm 100 years old. For me, getting a set of Mizuno irons was literally the first acceptance, like, hey, I'm actually a pretty good player. Like I can play a little bit. I'm good enough to play Mizuno irons.
Totally agree with that.
So back when I was a kid, it started like this, and this is 1996. So I was 19 years old. And the first set, and I remember I got them for my birthday. I actually got them for my 20th birthday. My dad took me to Pro Golf Discount in Seattle, and he bought me a set of the MP14s, which was like, with S300s in them. And that was, 2-through pitching wedge, and they were awesome. And, they were super weak lofted, and I think the pitching wedge was 50 degrees and whatever. They didn't go anywhere, but in the bag when you first pulled them and stuck them in your little ping hoofer, they were electric. And then literally a month later, I realized that I needed the MP29s to be like Tiger, because he had MP29s in 2, 3, and 4 iron because of the offset, right? You know, he didn't want any offset, and they were a little stronger lofted. So, Dad tapped on that shoulder. You couldn't go to Pro Golf Discount and get MP29s. I need you to go to the pro at Rainier Golf and Country Club and go ahead and see about getting a full set of MP29s as well, because we need those. And he
Gotta
told
have
me to
them.
F off. So I marched my ass into the pro shop. I said, I will wash extra carts for you for 3 months if I can order these irons. And the pro was nice enough to do that. I got my irons and I washed carts that whole summer to work it off. So God bless my dad for teaching me your work ethic. And but that was like the first banger set of clubs that I had was MP29s and MP14 combo, just like Tiger, even though I hit everything thin.
Do you still have this? Still have them?
Even though I hit everything thin.
No, I don't. I ended up giving them, not selling them. I gave them to Nico Bellini, I believe, was the
Okay.
next person that got them. When I was a clubhouse kid for the Angels in '97, I moved to Anaheim, and that's the set I had when I moved there. And I started making some money, so those clubs weren't good enough anymore, and I gave those to Nico, and I don't know what the hell he did with them. Probably sold them.
If they weren't good enough for Tiger, why would they be good enough for you anymore, John?
Yeah. And
Well,
I love the
100%.
fact that you were playing MP29s and the miss was thin. I mean, that had to just ring your bell
No, that
every
was
round of golf you played.
No, back in the day, to be fair, back then I hit the ball really well. Like I mean, I was good enough to play them.
Okay,
So
fair
I
enough.
didn't hit it thin. Like I didn't, you know, whatever. I hit it pretty good back then. Way better than I do now. But anyway, what was your first set? Wade, we'll go to you since you're the second oldest in this group. What was your second Mizuno set
I'm
the
older
first
than
Mizuno
Wade.
set you got?
So mine's actually a pretty interesting story, and I'm trying to find the photo of them on my phone. That's why I'm looking down at my phone. But I didn't really start playing golf till I moved here, but I got really lucky when I was in Australia. I bought a new set of Callaway irons. It was the X18s, and
Oh,
I hated them. I absolutely hated them. And so I took them back to it was Drummond Golf that I got them from. And I took them back and I was like, look, guys, I can't stand these. I don't like them. I was like, can I trade them in for something? And they were like, yeah, we just got these new Mizunos in, and they were blades. I'm trying to work out what they were, but I think they were like the around like the MP4 kind of time. And you can for an extra $200 you can have these. And I was like, sweet. And so that was my first foray into Mizuno, and I loved them. And honestly, it was really hard to get those out of my bag. In the end, I just ended up trying to try something different because I wanted something a little bit more forgiving. But I think it was the MP4. I can't find the photo, but I think it was the MP4. And this is my first set of Mizuno since then, so I'm really excited for it.
okay, Mac. I have a feeling you had some banger set. Your first set was probably, what were they?
I would like to think that they were a banger set. And fun fact for you, Johnny, I am older than Wade. Despite the lack of this, I'm older than that guy. If you can believe
What?
that.
Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Everybody stop for a second. I'm 48. Kris, you are?
42.
Wade?
I'm 42. I turned 43 in October.
When do you
43 in
turn 43?
July. July, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
But I mean,
Can
to
you
be
believe
fair,
that?
You look great, K-Mac. Way to go,
mature.
son. I thought you were like 35. You look amazing. Not that we
Here
don't.
we go.
Wade, we look great too.
No,
But
I was wrong. I was wrong. It was the MP67.
good iron. That was a nice shape.
MP4 versus MP67. Come on, man.
Cut
Yeah,
muscle.
that's like
muscle.
Michael Jackson versus Whitney Houston, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
you're going to get roasted in the comments for that, and you
Yeah.
That's
deserve
fine.
it. You deserve it.
You know what? I get roasted in the comments no matter what.
All right, so set that I had that was my kind of rite of passage. Similar story to Johnny when I got to a point to where I felt like I was good enough at golf and hitting the ball pretty well and had a decent clue as to what the hell I was doing. I went MP60, MP32 combo set with X months. And first round of golf I shot under par was with that combo set of MP60, MP32. Made the break at the 5 iron and had the 3-4-5 in the 60, and then 6 through wedge in the 32. And I
So you
loved those irons. Man, those were awesome.
so you shot under par with your new Mizunos. Next step, you're filling out you're trying to Monday qualify into the Phoenix Open. You're all pumped up on yourself.
Very first professional event that I attempted to play. I thought, just for a hot second there, a little blip on the radar of my life, tried to play a competitive event and shot 70, 69 and wasn't even close. And I golfed my ball. And I mean, it was the one and only. And I went, I'm not good enough to do this. And
No.
that was it. That was done. I played as good as I could play. I was feeling really great about it. Went in, turned in my scorecard, expecting to, have the heavens open up and angels sing and all that. And they were like, "All right, thanks. You don't get it. You don't get paid." It's like,
You're
oh
waiting for Tim
shit.
Fincham to be there Tim Fincham was going to be there at the leaderboard to give with a hand in your card. Like, this is
That's
welcome,
it.
kid. Welcome to the club. Yeah.
Yeah, you made it.
Um,
Welcome to the show. Not even close.
um, okay, so let's delve into some interesting things. We got to get into some serious talk here. Zurich Classic last week, very interesting. Speaking of Mizuno, we're gonna I guess this is the Mizuno show. Some cool, I love the fact that they're teams, and I love, Andrew Novak's got an interesting bag, and Ben Griffin's got an interesting bag. But big win for Mizuno. First time we've seen like a Mizuno full bag winner, like, this feels like fucking ever, in a long time. But also a win for the Maxfli ball. Now, do you guys? I've seen the Maxfli ball, held it in my hand. I have no experience. K-Mac, I think you've tried it, I think, or is it just Jackie Boy, the one that's hoarding all the balls?
No, Jack was gracious enough to give me a couple sleeves when we were down in Florida for the PGA show and the Florida Swing and all
Right.
that fun stuff. So he gave me a couple sleeves to try, and dude, solid golf ball,
They're
and
fast, are they not? Like, everybody tells me how fast they are.
they're fast, really good feel, man, and responsive around the greens. I mean, but if you think about, like, historically, Maxfly has had a really really good tenure on tour. I mean, Maxfly was the ball to play back in the day, man.
Oh,
They had some great stuff.
HT 100 was the balada back when we were talking about MP14s and stuff like that. Like, if you rolled up with a gold box and you had HT 100 baladas, like, that boy's coming. That
Yeah,
boy's coming
he's coming to play.
to smack some people around. Yeah, like that guy's like, there was a huge difference between the player that showed up with, like, Titleist Tour baladas, which all the good players play. But if a guy rolled up with some Rec Stars, or a guy rolled up with some HT 100s, that boy's looking to shoot 55. Like, he's real dialed in today because they were a couple bucks more expensive per sleeve, and you're pin seeking that day. Like, those are the balls you bring out when you're hitting it real good. Was those Maxfli HT 100s, because that's what Freddie played, that's what Greg Norman played. I think that's what Woosnam played. And then they had the Maxfli Revolution, which was another great golf ball that came out, I think, late 90s, early 2000s, which was an awesome ball. But yeah, okay. So I want to pose the question here, because it's an equipment podcast, and people come on here to find out information on gear, and I think we need to establish sort of a baseline of kind of how this all works. And I'll say it out loud to the consumer out there. And I know we've said this on the show a couple of times, because we have the Maxfli ball. We're going to talk about Mizuno irons. We're going to talk about ping drivers. We're going to talk about all these things. As I've tested all this gear over the last 2.5 months, I swear to Christ, category to category, the only thing that separates them for me is blade length. Like, for the irons, it's blade length. Of the longer stuff, longer blade lengths, I don't hit as well as the one with the shorter blade lengths. Offset, like, more offset for me helps me. I hit those ones better. But drivers, literally, dude, across the board, the drivers are like 1 mile an hour between the two. Golf balls, same thing, like 1 or 2 miles an hour, like 100 RPMs in spin. Like, I'm not seeing any big dips in performance piece of equipment to piece of equipment. At that point, it literally, what I'm noticing is it's all emotional or who handed it to me. Like, oh, I like this because Adrian built this on the truck, or I like this driver because of this, because this guy uses it. That's literally what it's come down on. I'm building my bag right now. So I want to get your guys' take, because that's where I sit. To me right now, I sit here and people are going to ask what's better, this or that. I will never answer that question because I have no idea. Because in my opinion, everything's at like an A- to A level. Literally everything. There is no shitty equipment on the market anymore. Even this direct to consumer stuff that's like $500 for 15 clubs. Even that stuff's awesome.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I don't think there's a big difference. Like, there was a lot of separation. I think that separation is coming closer and closer. Kris, be careful, there's someone behind you. I think the separation that was there is getting closer and closer and closer. And it just comes down to preference for me. I tend to miss on the toe, so I will go for clubs that have a more substantial toe area, because and I think the TaylorMade drivers are very known for being very, very great on toe misses. So for me, as I said, like if I hit anything in the middle, it's all going to feel very, very similar. It's all going to do the same kind of a thing. And so it just comes to your point, Johnny. It just comes down to preference and then what I'm looking for when I know my misses. The other thing I'd say to people is when you're testing clubs in a bay versus then going out and playing them, testing in a bay is very different to playing in the great outdoors. The great outdoors, there's so many more variables. You're seeing something that's tighter versus a screen where like it doesn't matter what happens because it's going into a screen. I can't lose a ball. It's not going to take strokes off my game. So make sure that when you are in a fitting, you look more at what you're missing and the mishits versus the pure ones. Because if your mishits are more controlled and the dispersion is better, or you know exactly what the flight's going to do, that's the club for you. And that's kind of how I make the basis of my set that I put in my bag.
what do you think, K-Mac? You're the fitter guy. Like, where do you see it? You've tested a lot more than I have too over the last 2 or 3 months. I mean, you've obviously hit a lot of stuff in the bay, and curious to see what you like, where you sit on all this, like the separation between equipment and the separation between it all. Like, what do you think?
I mean, it's since joining this brand agnostic world that we have within TrueSpec and the 8 a.m. companies, man, I've been nonstop testing for over 7 years now with all the OEMs, including, head companies, shaft companies, grip companies, ball companies. And dude, I've been singing this for the last several years. There is no bad stuff out there. Everything that comes onto the market is going to work for someone. And that's the importance of going and getting fit and doing some testing. Because, I mean, it gets down to minute details: look, sound, feel. I mean, all the performance characteristics are there. Johnny, you hit it on the head when you were talking about everything out there is within a mile an hour of each other.
Right.
So, and like Wade said, you can get so granular to the point of, oh, if I hit it on the toe versus on the heel versus high versus low, if I want my start direction to be right or left, if I need to cut spin, add spin. I mean, that's the beauty part of going through and doing this brand agnostic testing, is you can fine tune every little detail from the top to bottom of your bag. And Johnny, you and I have talked. I mean, the gear is so good. You can build your golf bag around the ball that you like to play.
Yeah.
So
Which is
if
in my opinion a better way to do it anyway.
Yeah,
Like
we've had that conversation, and I was so happy to hear you say that. And there's so much good stuff, man, and nobody makes bad product. And you can, I mean, there's no reason to be brand loyal when there's so much good stuff out there. And that's Wade and I have talked about it. Johnny, you and I have talked about it. I mean, I have several sets of clubs that I am confident that I could pick up, rearrange any particular combination in my bag because they're all fit for me,
right.
and go and post a number. There's just so much good stuff, and it's worth
Yeah,
testing.
another thing that you can do, though, I think more so than ever, is you could be a brand loyalist and play just one type of club and still not be missing out on life. You know what I mean? Like or before it was like, if you're playing these wedges, if you play this company stuff and you still play their wedges, the wedges aren't that great, but you're making some sacrifices. They're like, no, I don't see that. I don't. If 5 years ago maybe, but now like I don't see that. But what I will say for the consumer is it's more important to get fit now. People will say then, what's if it's all good, why don't I just pick what I want and go, just go play whatever. because you can go, I think the level of quality you can get now, because everything's so good, the level of dialed you can get now with a good fitter is far more substantial than it ever was. So, if we're talking about the importance of all this stuff being out on the golf course, which is really the only thing that fucking matters. Like, we could babble all day on here and talk about how good the golf club is. If it doesn't perform on the golf course, I don't care what you think of your golf clubs. And
Right.
I'll give you
Absolutely.
I'll give you a perfect example. So we went to Vegas, and we're going to get to this for this Justin Timberlake 8 a.m. Invitational, which is a completely wild experience, by the way. We did launch some pretty cool products there. We're going to let Wade talk about that in a second. But I've hit a bunch of irons. The only thing I've really focused on, like in the 4 or 5 times I've been to a hitting bay in the last few months to test all these irons I'm getting, irons is just the easiest thing to digest. You take a 4-iron or 7-iron and a wedge, and you take them to the bay, and you just hit a bunch of them and get the numbers. And what I've noticed is that they're all pretty much identical, because they're all players cavity back. Some are hotter than others, but loft to loft, they're basically the same. But then I started separating by blade length. So I really like those Cobras that Wade plays, for example, right? But the blade length's a little bit long on them. And so they don't have a lot of offset, and the blade length's long. So for me, I'm going to hit those right. They're going to start right, and kind of, especially when I get to 4, 5, and 6-iron, they're going to start right and not curve as much as they need them to turn them over, right? So I know that going in. It's exactly what I expected. But 7 through wedge is really good. So I'll get to the point here. So I know for a fact now, after everything that I've tried, is I need offset for me to hit the shots that when I get to the golf course, I know I'm going to be able to hit. And my fear is always losing it right. So I know I need offset. So now I've narrowed it down to, like, the sets that have offset in them are always going to work for me. So that's the number one key component to if something is really going to work, is not even blade length. It's got to have offset. Something's got to offset to get it to start a little straighter and keep it that way. But that's where a fitter can help, right? Somebody that's really knowledgeable of your game and this and that. That's where a fitter can go, I know you like these, P7 MCs, but there's not a lot of offset in these things. So I know they look cool, but you're going to get to the golf course and you're going to want to try to hammer one, and it's going to start right and stay right unless you're changing your golf swing. So out in Vegas this week, I noticed that, like, I hadn't swung a club on grass in 3 months, not feeling super fresh. I have no clue if I'm even going to hit the middle of the club face. And I started to actually hit it okay, even though my swing was trash. But I was always able to rely on the fact that the irons that I was playing, which is just the TCBs I've been playing for 4 years, have a shitload of offset for a player's cavity back. And I was totally comfortable just kind of hitting these pull draws all day, and they felt amazing. And I'm like, I know I could do that all day long. I could do this all day long. And I know a lot of it's not because it was a Callaway iron. It's not because it was this. It's because the iron had offset. It had what I needed to make it work for me.
It's trusting. You've got so much trust in them because you know exactly what they're going to do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But it's because in the bay, I got better numbers out of some of these irons that, like Ping Blueprint S, for example, for me in the bay performed amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. They don't have a lot of offset. There's a little bit, but not like TCBs do. Like, TCBs look like Ping I2s. Like, if you set them down like, they have a lot of offset. So the irons that really, and Strixon, same thing. I hammered the Strixons in the bay, hit them really, really good, but they don't have a lot of offset. T100s have a little bit, but not a lot. But when you set the T100s down, and what was the other iron? I think it was the PXG irons, have a little bit of offset. They're 0317 cavity backs. Those 2 irons were the 2 that were like, I could play these because they're kind of similar. So for the folks at home, I know it sounds like babble. Where I think you can get now is you can honestly get to a place, probably more so than ever, because everything's so good, that you can whittle it down to what's got offset, what doesn't. You can whittle it down to blade length versus short blade length. Don't you think, Kris? Like, isn't that you think that's a valid point?
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's not all about the numbers anymore.
It's really not. Playability is so huge. And I mean, I touched on an article, and you and I talked about it, Johnny, where a lot of players are trying to add spin back to their bag for added control and consistency and playability. And to your point, like, the majority of product in those categories are so close when it comes to loft. You get to be really picky with aesthetics. So, I mean, somebody like you that likes offset versus somebody that doesn't, a softer leading edge, a different face progression. I mean, there's the top line, the shape of the toe. You have so many different options that you can be picky about and really fine tune that look, sound, feel, personal component, and then still have consistency when it comes to the playability and application on the golf course. So, I mean, where it starts versus how it curves versus where it finishes. I mean, the launch and spin characteristics can all be the same, but just the shape of the iron is going to really influence just what the golf ball does downrange. And you can put the same shaft, the same weight, the same build specs into different sets, but because of the optics of it, because of the playability with the offset, uh, how the turf interaction influences the playability of the blade coming through impact. I mean, yeah, you can get real picky.
Yeah, so like I'm curious, like Wade, where do you sit on that really quick? I just wanted your opinion. We're going to move on from this topic, but where do you sit? Like, do you have a preference when you're putting down irons like these Mizunos that you got now? Like, do they look like something, or do you like them because they're Mizunos and they're new and somebody told you they were good, or does like when you set them down, you're like, okay, this is kind of like what I like to look at?
No, when I set them down, I really like to look at them. Honestly, when you get your set, Johnny, the pitching wedge, this is the best pitching wedge I've seen in a long time.
They make the best pitch. To me, they make the best. Mizuno makes the best looking pitching wedge.
Yeah, like
Ever.
go looking down at this, you wouldn't even know it's part of a set. You'd feel like it's its own separate wedge. But no, I aesthetically, I don't see offset. For some reason, I look down at a club and people are like it's got too much offset, doesn't have enough. I can't see it.
Okay.
It's never really bothered me. The biggest thing for me is how they feel and how they look when I look down. If I look down and I go, this is a really good looking club, and it looks like it's square versus open or closed, that's the big thing for me. So honestly, I'm one of those people where I think I go against the grain a little bit, where you can just put any club in my hand, and as long as visually it looks good to me, I can swing and hit it. That's why I really struggle with the bigger head drivers. I prefer the LS because I prefer the smaller looking head. I think that's why I love the mini drivers so much, is because the head's so much smaller. Uh, but once I get into the irons and what have you, the other thing I can't stand is I can't stand high toe in wedges, and I can't stand full face grinding. They're that big driver heads, full face grind, and then high toes. The three things that I can't look down at. I'll never play.
You'll quit. You'll quit the game if that's all there was.
Yeah. But I just can't. I can't find square on a full face, and I hate looking at it.
Well,
That's fair.
That is fair. Well, speaking of optics and looks, Wade, I'm actually happy as the resident sneakerhead, and I know Kris, I know you're working hard to become a sneakerhead, or you're being pressurized into becoming a sneakerhead.
I'm adapting. I'm adapting,
which I am
it.
not in that conversation. I don't bully people. I don't do that to people. But I know Wade is on his own mission to change how you look at shoes and the rest, going forward. So Timberlake's event, 8 a.m. I should call it 8 a.m. Invitational, hosted by Justin Timberlake's a better way to say it. First of all, interesting event. 8 a.m. puts on a hell of a show. It's a lot of hard work to get this thing. It's a huge endeavor. Like, that's the one biggest takeaway from being at this thing. We're at Wynn Las Vegas, so everything's on full tilt. Played at the Wynn Las Vegas. You got Justin Timberlake and Michelle Wee and Michael Phelps and who else? Michael Pena, Anderson Tino. I mean, it's just a bunch of celebrities, right? It's 36 celebrities.
Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, Kelsey brothers.
Travis
like
and
they were
Jason
having a good
Kelsey,
time.
Sean Malto, Eric Costin. I mean, it's like, and to be honest, this year, I guess it was a little bit more mild on the celebrity. Last year it was like Fallon and a bunch of other people, right? So anyway, they put on a hell of a show. Hoyt and Fuji and those guys worked their asses off. It's a great event. But being in the celebrity mix, going to a tour event's one thing. Going to a celebrity private pro-am is a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
Justin Timberlake is a very, 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 very famous human being. And I mean that in the music world. Like, I know obviously I'm close with a few of these big athletes that are famous, like Steph and the Manning brothers and stuff like that. But those are athletes. They're not musicians.
Right.
Different ball game. Like, totally different deal. But gotta admit, it was fun. But we did launch. I don't even know how to say it. They're beautiful shoes. The new Nike Justin Timberlake collab. And Wade, I'm going to let you take it away because they are on Fairway Jockey. I think they go on sale tomorrow on Fairway Jockey.
Correct. So it's the Regio del Sol, or Di Sol, I should say. So it's It's this guy here.
Yeah, it's a nice piece.
And so, honestly, it's a really beautiful looking shoe. Um, the retail of it's not cheap; it's $500. But what I will say about that is everything about this shoe is handmade in Italy. And what I got told was that the factory that these are handmade in Italy are basically only where special athletes get their products made. So the likes of Ronaldo and Neymar, that's where they get their soccer boots made. Um, and Nike has never released anything to the public from there. So honestly, feeling this guy in hand, it is so stout. It is beautiful in regards to the materials it's made. The leather is so soft. The suede on here is incredible. It's got the cork inner as well.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they come with a couple of pairs of socks as well. I also love the sole. So stable, very hard to bend with the carbon in there as well. Honestly, just all in all, it's just a really, really great looking shoe. Aesthetically, I do like the brown. It's kind of like, remember when people were dipping their Air Force Ones into coffee and leaving it for 24
That's where
hours?
that came from.
That's
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's and then the infrared behind it just gives it a really cool shot of color. I think it's meant to represent like a sunset. That's what it's meant to kind of look.
I think it's supposed to represent a sunrise.
Sunrise.
So
Okay, there you go.
yeah. So
But honestly,
really quick,
go.
go ahead.
I was just going to say but the fact that this is coming out of that factory in Italy, that is all of these are handmade, and as I said, there's a very limited amount made. I think in totality they made 1981 pairs worldwide. In America, the only places that are going to have it are going to be Nike on the sneakers app and then fairwayjockey.com. So they're going to go live tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock in the morning, which is when they go live on the sneakers app as well. We're going to try to do everything in tandem. But yeah, this is a very, very stunning, well-made, beautiful shoe.
So we're at this. I got to Vegas on Wednesday. So Wednesday evening they were shooting the Nike content for the shoe with Timberlake, right? And I think they're putting a video out. Like there's like a documentary they did on it because there was so much information and so much thought that went into this. And one of the, Justin said a couple of things that were actually really, really cool. Because he's a big sneakerhead. He's a big Jordan guy. Like he really, really, really follows Jordan. He's a big fan of the Jordan brand.
So really quickly, this stitching here, can you see that little panel there? That's from the Jordan 3.
Jordan 3, that's what it was. And then you have the grain from the Jordan 2, I think, right? Because you have grain and you have suede. So
that's the grain here. You can see the grain, the leather grain there, and then suede on the heel.
Yeah, so they were all nods to his favorite Jordans, and his biggest question is, can I put suede and grain and all this stuff into the things? And every single time he'd ask a question, they'd be like, yeah, you just, there's different ways. And when you mentioned it looked like somebody dipped it in coffee, that's literally what they were going for. So it's like sunrise, cup of coffee, giving you that vibe. That's literally the whole point of the shoe is having a cup of coffee, watching the sun come up.
There you go. But yes, and just so you know what silhouette, it's the Victory Tour silhouette, which is a very common silhouette that Rory plays. I actually believe this shoe is for Rory. Like, even though people are calling it the JT shoe, I believe this is Rory's shoe, and it was just a collaboration with JT to help him produce it. And my understanding is he will be playing golf in those very, very soon as well. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because the color is so specific.
Yeah.
What do you wear with that pair of shoes?
Honestly, I think you can wear this with any color. Like if you're wearing black or navy, it's going to go with those black or navy pants. The only thing I probably wouldn't do with them, and sorry, I'm just staring at the shoes trying to style them in my head.
I thought you were talking to somebody.
No, the only thing I probably wouldn't do is I probably wouldn't wear beige on beige. Like I wouldn't wear beige pants with these. Like I wouldn't wear brown colored pants with these. I'd be more in the lines to wear a black or a blue or a white. Honestly, you can really wear it with anything. To me, it does go with everything, except for the same color.
Yeah, but the beige socks that they give you. The only thing I obviously didn't get the shoes. Just because I didn't push on it, but I did get a couple pairs of them socks. Those socks are pretty sick. You like these brown these brown Nike
I'm not
socks that
going
are
to
really cool. Yeah.
because these are meant for someone that's going to buy them, but you can kind of see them in there as well.
Yeah, big fan of the socks. I stole 2 pairs of those. So they were filming
There's
with
2 pairs here.
JT.
There's 2 pairs in there.
This is actually kind of funny. So they were filming with JT and they needed to get shots of like in action golf swing shots of just the feet. So feet, hitting a ball taking off. And they had an old sumo square driver. And they wanted Justin to put the shoes on, get a shot of his feet, and hit. The guy is super duper, and I don't know, he shouldn't be because he's got a good golf swing, but he's super self-conscious of his golf swing. Like he doesn't like, if you take a shot of him down the line, it's not getting approved. He doesn't want it. Like I can tell he's very conscious of like what his swing looks like at certain angles. And to be honest, the guy's a good athlete. He's got a good swing. Like he hits it fine.
He does. I fit him a few times, and he's got a good move at it.
Yeah, he can hit it. Like he's fine. Like he's fully capable of playing really, really good golf. Like I totally believe that. So they come to me and they go, "Hey, we need a stand-in. We need you to hit. We need you to put these shoes on and go and hit a shot because we need some action shots of this, what these look like in action." So I was the only one that was close to, because Justin's a 10.5 and I'm a 10, I think is how it was or whatever. And so I put the shoes on, put the socks on, and they hand me this driver, this sumo driver, because it's all Nike production crew, right? And I'm like, "Are we really hitting this thing?" He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna hit it." And I hadn't swung club in 3 months. So I'm like, I'm not making a full rip at this, but this is kind of funny. Like I'll do it. So we get up there, and I don't think these people had really had any concept of how loud this driver was going to be on camera. But I'm like, it's gonna. So anyway, put the shoes on, did the bit, just absolutely like half swung it, but piped it right down the middle, made a big loud noise. And when I was taking the shoes off, I conveniently just kept the socks on because they were bangers and I'm a klepto.
They are a good sock.
And if so facto, and I found another pair that was just kind of lying there. And we took 2 socks out of that joint and I'm not giving them back. Sorry. It's cost of doing business with Wunder. It's going to cost a couple pairs of socks.
That's it. That's the appearance fee.
Yeah. So Wade,
give us the
update on. See this. So today is April 30th. Tomorrow's May 1st. These go on Fairway Jockey in the mañana.
They go tomorrow morning, 8:00 in the morning in Pacific time. So globally, nationally, that's the time it's going to go. So it's going to be 8:00 Pacific Standard Time, which is 11:00 Eastern Time. When they're going to be going live. So get ready. We've got a sign up. If you go to fairwayjockey.com, you'll be able to see them on the website. Sign up if you're interested, and we'll send you an email as soon as they're ready to go. I do think these are going to go very, very quickly. As I said, 1,981 pairs globally made. I think there is something like 400 in the United States of America. So not a lot. So if this is a shoe that you're gunning for, which to me, it's a beautiful looking shoe. It's definitely something you should think about putting into your arsenal. It'll be there ready to go at Fairway Jockey. And yeah, good luck. Hopefully you get it. But I was just thinking about what else to style this with. This would go really good with a pair of like forest green pants as well.
Oh, I think with that's a nice call. See, the sad thing is, after hearing you say you don't go khaki on khaki with those. See, I would go khaki because I don't like. I'm not. I know K-Mac was thinking the same thing. Like, I'd probably wear this nice pair of khakis. Wouldn't you, K-Mac?
Dude, I would wear those with a pair of khakis that had pleats in them. I mean, I don't even know what the hell to do anymore. I would rock some pleated khakis with them and think I looked great until Wade told me otherwise.
To be fair, I do have a pair of pleated khakis that I wore while we were in Carlsbad, so I'm all in for the pleated khakis situation. I just wouldn't wear. I'm not a big fan of brown on brown in regards to apparel. Like, so for instance, wearing a brown.
What about white? What about white? Still, I posted.
So these match, but everything else won't.
So I posted a video of my little jinky golf swing hitting into that par 5 that's right next to the Sphere in Vegas, and I had white golf shoes because I had blue socks on that day, and I'm like, I'm not super self-conscious of socks color versus shoe. I just don't care anymore. I'm 48. Who cares? Sure. I got an absolute just walloping in the DMs like, dude, you're like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You can't wear. Is that like, does it matter? Like white shoes with blue socks, like who cares, right? Or am I completely oblivious to like social norms?
No, I think it just comes down to like I think here's what I'll say about style, and this is the beauty of style. If you wear it and you rock it and you're confident with it, who gives a fuck what anyone's got to say?
See, that's where I
It's your
sit.
style. You do it the way you want to do it. Like would do
K-Mac's
I
face.
very rarely wear black and navy together. That's just something I don't do.
Yeah,
But
that's intense. Yeah, I get it.
but what I'm getting at is if you want to wear a pair of white shoes with blue socks and blue shorts, fucking have at it. Who gives a shit what people say? People are going to hate no matter what. They're going to turn around to me and say, after this, I'm talking about style. Like, this guy doesn't even have any style whatsoever. But literally, they know what goes on in my closet. And I sent you a photo of my shoes and my closet last week, Johnny, so you could see what was going on there.
Yeah, it's a lot
Uh,
happening. It's a lot to unpack.
but, ultimately, it's just rock what you want to rock, how you want to rock it. Unless you're Kris, and then I'm going to say some shit to him. But that's just me being a good friend. That's just me being a good friend.
No, I appreciate the bullying. It's been effective. It's worked. We've talked about the Justin Timberlake shoe that's dropping, but something that is already live that you don't have to wait for is the fully equipped store on T-commerce.
Way to go,
And
K-Mac. Way to go.
I
Killing it.
know that we have had the opportunity to go into T-commerce and look at all of these major apparel brands and throw our fully equipped logo on there. Super easy process. And I mean, Wade, you've got some stuff. I've got some stuff. I have more coming because obviously we have discussed that my wardrobe needs a little bit of an update. But it's shop.golf.com. Go in, take a look at what they've got. It's a little bit of everything. I mean, from hats to t-shirts to pullovers to polos, whatever is that you want. Select your favorite golf logo, throw it on there, check it out. Shop.golf.com. I'm a fan.
Dare we call it? Will we call it a potpourri of options, gentlemen, or a plethora of options there?
A
On
Plethora. A
I
plethora.
like
Yes.
the term plethora.
Okay. Do you know what? Actually, this perfect time for me to ask that because you know who looks like El Guapo on this podcast from Three Amigos is our young man there in the middle.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
It's
You
a
remember?
sweater. It's a sweater.
Three amigos call out.
But could it be
That's
that
not
once
one that
again
gets
you are
referenced
angry at
near
something
enough.
else and are looking to take it out on me? That's you. You're all waffle.
Oh, I love that. My kids love El Guapo too.
Yes. But obviously, we're all excited. So there's a lot of fully equipped podcasting going to come this summer. A lot of it's going to be around some really fun launches. That's where every other year summertime is kind of fun because companies come out with new irons. And this summer, particularly from July 1st to basically October 1st, we got I think four big launches coming in the iron category. At least three. Which I always love. I prefer iron launches to metalwood. I always get excited for iron launches, especially player irons launches. That's where I always get really excited. To me, that's where like all the nuance happens, right? Drivers are like, all right, they all go fast and far and straight and blah 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 blah. But like irons are interesting because I think iron R&D guys are the most interesting R&D guys because that's like all the club dorks work in iron R&D. So like at Callaway. It was like David Stitt, who was metalwoods, now in iron. Ryan Ritchie is over in irons now. Brian Herr works in wedges and sometimes helps out with irons. Like those guys are super dorky, and they're like my favorite people to talk to because they're really cool guys, but they're also club dorks. So iron launches are always fun. A lot to look forward to. Okay, back to these articles. So first of all, K-Mac posted an article yesterday on golf.com about tour issue equipment versus what you get at retail, which I thought
It's
was a
trending.
really, really fun thing to do. I did it on the World of Wunder website when I used to break down the tour heads. But I want to get you really quickly, K-Mac, explaining tour heads versus what you see at retail, and I'll see if I can interject anywhere.
Sure, tour heads versus what you see at retail. I mean, the article took me quite a while to put together, kind of breaking down the differences, which I mean, between us girls, there is not a dramatic difference in the majority of the heads. I mean, they're cherry picked for optimum performance so that the builders on the tour trucks know exactly what they're getting. So, I mean, from weight to loft to offset, there are just all kinds of little nuances that the majority of us in the general public just wouldn't even notice a difference in. And there is this common misconception of tour heads are faster. And it's typically quite the opposite, as tour players don't want to get right up to the limit like those of us in the general public. We're looking for every ounce of speed we can get. Those guys have plenty of speed. They don't need anything to go faster. They need it to go consistently a number.
Right.
They need it to start in a particular place. They need it to move a particular way down range. So a lot of the tour heads are designed specifically for those types of objectives. So, I mean, as far as the amount of separation that you have, there's not a ton. They're just tighter tolerances, and they are designed specifically to do a certain job for a particular player type. So, I mean, what would you add to that, Johnny?
Well, the easiest way to explain it is one is these players are the best players in the world. One, they hit it in the same spot all the time, right? So they have a shot pattern. Most tour equipment, especially, and it's pretty specific to metal woods, to be honest. It's not
Sure.
irons or irons, right? Like you'll get light heads and heavy heads to complement swing weight, and sometimes you might get a modification on tour of a certain sole or something, like maybe but it's like if you're going to take TCBs that you get at retail, they're the same that you can get from a fitter or a retail. They're the same ones that Xander plays. There's no difference. They're the same heads. They come from the same factory. It's the same exact thing. When it
Sure.
comes to metal woods, specifically drivers, right? Drivers, and this is for Callaway, because I can only speak because I know that on the inside of the belly of the beast for the most part. Callaway drivers started off slower from a COR, CT standpoint, whatever you want to call it, for the very reason that these guys hit thousands of golf balls all the time. They beat the middle of the face in, and they don't want to, like you said, Kris, they don't want to start off hot ever. Like,
Yeah.
so on the Callaway Tour drivers have a thicker, heavier face. So if you're going to take it model for model and you had a retail head and a TC serial number head, the TC serial number head has a thicker, heavier face for the very reason is they're going to beat the
Agreed.
face in at 180 miles
Yep.
an hour, 185. They're going to wear the face in. It's going to either not pass the test or it's going to crack. That's it.
Yep.
That's why they do it that way.
That's the
Second
last thing
thing
a tour
is,
player wants, man. It's something that
well,
they
yeah, because
absolutely love.
so perfect example is 2021 Rahm's first year and 2022 his second year. He played with the same driver. Well, and the Epic Speed driver he got fit into in December of 2020 when he signed with Callaway. He played the same Epic Speed Triple Diamond driver all year. Right? Like he played the same driver all year. He drove the piss out of it all year. He had the same driver. So if you would have tested that driver in like October, that thing's on the razor's edge of not passing. Like he beat the face of that thing in, right? So that's what you want to. You don't want a player to get on a heater during the summer and have the face crack or not pass a test, because then you're playing driver whack-a-mole trying to recreate it. And yes, can these guys make it exact again? Sure, but every golf club is a living, breathing thing, and it's never quite the same. There's always a little slight difference here or there. Okay, so that's one. Two is if you buy you said tighter tolerances, it's actually kind of the opposite. The scope of loft tolerances and weight tolerances is a little bit different. So, and I can speak specifically to Callaway. So Callaway triple diamond heads typically start, raw heads 187 grams, 188 grams, right? Then you start adding weight into it and they all come in, depending on the drawer. You open a drawer, you'll find one head at 188 and one at 191. No specific reason. It's just kind of what they do. And then the lofts, like a 9-degree head, you'll find 9-degree heads that start at 8.6 that go all the way to 9.5. So it could be like a 10-degree, or a degree difference between, but they all say 9 on them, but the actual laser loft is, maybe a degree apart. And the reason they do that is for face angle optimization. So you may have a guy that really needs 8.5 degrees of loft, but he doesn't want to open the face or he doesn't want to close the face. He just wants a square face at 8.5. So they'll cherry pick a head at 8.5 or 8.6 to get it close enough for that very reason, right? So you're going to get a wide range of lofts at a loft number. So you might have, a drawer of 9-degree heads and the loft options go from 8.6 to 9.6. all saying 9 degrees aloft on the skew. And then the other thing that you kind of see on tour is you'll get some heads that are there to complement a shot shade. So, and a lot of it's adding more spin. So you might get a triple diamond head. Like we used to have one that was a triple diamond plus. That was basically a triple diamond head that didn't have any weight forward. Like I have 2 of them downstairs, and they just spun more. For the players that wanted that triple diamond look but wanted it to spin, they got that head. At a consumer level, it makes no sense. Like you would never sell that driver. Except for the one guy in Arizona. Yeah. So I used to battle people, especially the all the forum people, and it's not even necessarily the WRX forums, it's all the forums and all the gearheads that would DM me like, why can't we get this and why can't we get that? I'm like, because I'll kind of answer this, and I know I'm right. This demo that Wade's in and Kris is in and I'm in, and all the people that know who I am on Instagram and know who you are on Instagram, that demo is tiny. So like if you find us, if you found Johnny Wunder, you're a gear dork. Like the general golfer, unless you saw me on a Callaway YouTube thing, like the general golfer doesn't know who the hell I am. The gear dorks do, right? And that demo is tiny. And the people that would need a tour issue driver is even smaller. So why would you make a production SKU for a group of idiots that's not on tour of like 1,000 people?
Maybe
that's
I don't
when
even
they're
know
sitting
if it would
in
be
meetings.
1,000.
Yeah, when they're sitting in meetings and they're going like, oh, let's make this triple diamond S driver for that one guy in Minnesota and the other guy in Arizona and that one dude in Sydney that really likes to shape the ball. Like it's not going to happen. So that's that. So I thought that was an excellent article, K-Mac. I love the fact that you brought that up because you've heard it. You've gotten the question. I get the question all the time. That's that. Another thing, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to read this, but my boy, it's another Callaway thing. So everybody forgive me. I'm talking about Callaway a lot. I know that it drives people nuts.
Mizuno got plenty of love. Mizuno got some love.
They did, but I still get the do you work for Callaway thing. I still get that all the time. Like, well, you're still loyal to Callaway. Well, I just, you know what? Sometimes I'm going to talk about Callaway. Just get over yourself.
You've been gone for 2 seconds. Who gives a shit?
I know, dude.
A long time.
Don't get me started. They think
everyone out there, I guarantee you still talk about the first girl that broke up with you. Who gives a shit? He talks about Callaway.
Yeah, Aaron Kawasaki. Idiot.
You're listening.
Kellen Watson, who is like my kid brother, he's Rom's fitter and Xander's fitter and on for Callaway. For that fitting series, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to read it, but if you want like a full deep dive on how these guys fit fairway woods, like from soup to nuts, he went for this fitting series. I literally texted my boys. I'm like, I need you guys to answer this question. Give me your give me your main strategy, soup to nuts, on how you fit a tour player into this club. Driver, fairway wood, irons, blah, blah, blah. And then give me some real world examples if you can. Most people sent me 2 to 3 paragraphs. They were all great. Kellen Watson sent me 4 pages in an Apple Notes thing like this big, where I had it took me a day to decipher and break it all down and put it into a cohesive thought. But I think as a tour fitting document about how this actually goes down in real time, that was probably the coolest article that I've put, even when I was at Callaway, of being able to take a brain of a tour fitter and go and throw it on a website. So if any of you gearheads really want to know how it goes down, read that article, because he just explained how he fits Xander Schauffele and John Rahm into fairway woods, and it is masterclass.
That's awesome.
It is. It's a really good read. I hyperlinked it into my tour article.
Yeah, because
it's a good read, man.
Did you notice that there's no data in there at all? He told that whole story without any data. All he talks about is face angles, shaft weight, questions that the player has, usability, practicality. There was no numbers. We're trying to hit this spin window. No. Like he eliminated all that and just literally talked about start lines, player reacting to this, player reacting to that. Like it was awesome. And
really good read.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to learn
as
something,
a gearhead, I approve.
But even like, I feel like fitters could read that. Like even, new fitters, people that are new to the
Totally.
fitting game that are trying to get it, like could read that and go, oh shit, like that's this guy's dropping serious nuggets.
Yeah, never
Right.
thought about it like that. Different perspectives. And I mean, you take something from a veteran fitter that's done it all, seen it all, heard it all, and to be able to get inside of his brain and understand his process. It's awesome. Awesome
That's as
takeaway.
far into his brain as you want to get into, by the way. You don't want to get any further than that.
Noted. Noted.
Yeah. If him and I would have grown up together in the same neighborhood, we would both be in jail right now.
I know we're getting a little long. One other topic that I wanted to talk about was Ping announcing their formal partnership with
Awesome.
Live and sponsoring the boys on Torque. And
Torque.
you have a
Chris.
Torque.
Torque.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Torque.
Yeah.
Very vanilla over here. My apologies. You have a personal relationship there, Johnny. I want you to kind of dive into that a little bit. I mean, seeing formal announcement,
Mhm.
Ping is making a big move, and then the announcement happens, and lo and behold, our buddy wins.
Yeah,
And I mean,
awesome.
just cherry on top for that announcement and for Ping, which is so cool. Oh, I mean, dive into that a little bit. You were down in Miami, spend some time with those boys. What's going on there?
Yeah, so I'm actually surprised it took so long for the club companies to buy into this. I think a lot of it was wrapping their heads around. Here's the challenge with those deals. Torque actually was the cleanest way to do it because they were all Ping players. So there's basically 4 Ping stat with it. The only question mark was Carlos Ortiz, who was kind of a Ping player, but kind of not. Like, he played a lot of Ping stuff. But the other 3 were full on Ping players, staffers on tour, right? So it was nice and clean. Legion 13 gets a little challenging because of Tyrrell Hatton's a Ping guy, but McKibben's a Callaway guy, Surratt's a Callaway guy, and Rombo's a Callaway guy. So of the 2, they're both pretty clean transitions, but the hardest part is that you have to treat that whole team as one NIL. So you're signing the whole team. You're not signing just John Rahm. So if you sign the team, that means that all the players theoretically have to get under the Callaway or get under the Ping umbrella. And look, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in what's going on with Live and the PGA Tour. And, right now, it's kind of like politics in Canada, right? Like Pierre Poilievre was like really killing it in Canada, and then all of a sudden he's not, and he lost the election, and the tables have turned. And I feel like that's kind of happening with Live right now. The tables have turned a little bit, and the steam has been, but it's going to turn again. I think what they're doing with the OWGR, if they can figure that out, it's going to be a huge, huge, huge piece of the puzzle. And I think these club companies know it. And you got to remember, like the CEOs of these companies know far more about what's going on than I do. Like I know a lot, but they know way more. So my hunch is that the next company to fall is probably going to be Strixon. I think they're going to be the next company that dives in somehow or some way. I don't think TaylorMade will ever sign a team. I know Titleist will never sign a team. That's just totally not their vibe. I don't think PXG would ever sign a team, but I literally think there's going to be a Strixon team, a Ping team, a Callaway team, and then there'll be like an Adidas team, and there'll be a Lululemon team or something. But I think you're going to start to see more of that.
Think
And
Cobra will get in the mix there?
I think they should. They don't have any players out there though.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I think Live for Cobra is the perfect environment for their product, for their vibe. Like it's fast moving, it's young. Like that to me is kind of the Cobra vibe. Like, and you kind of get that vibe when you see their equipment, and I think they would do really, really well. I think they just need some more players out there to play their stuff. But like, in my
That's
opinion,
a really good point, Johnny. That aligns with kind of their montage with
they're just cool
Cobra Puma
company,
in
but
general.
they just kind of have that vibe. Like to me, honestly, if I could go back in time, like the moment that Anthony Kim would have, signed on Live, I would have embraced him. Like Tony, we're going to make you a Puma Cobra. Come home, dude. We're going to take care of you. Like
That makes sense.
And they would have taken a kick in the forehead at first, but I think that's a very, very fun they're just big enough and just small enough to kind of do whatever they want. Still,
Yep.
like they're not a huge aircraft carrier; they're more of a battleship, right? So, like, for them to pivot and do something cool, you're not changing 6 years worth of production plans or marketing plans to do it. With some of these other companies, you are. Cobra's still pretty nimble. So,
Yeah.
I think doing the live thing for them is like, and they have great product, man. Jesus Christ, like their
Really good.
driver's amazing. Irons are great. They're a
Irons are
cool
super
company.
underrated. Irons are so underrated.
Cobra is just
Yeah.
one of those companies. It's like I really want them to just blow. Like I want them to be a juggernaut. I just don't know how to get them there.
Same.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if I love the
Future
people that
Fit
work there.
33, man. Future Fit
Yeah, dude.
33
Like
was the
they got
most exciting gear story for me for 25. I I saw this thing with Yagley out in Carlsbad, and I was like, dude, how has nobody else thought about this? This is awesome. And then we went into the hitting bay and we started tinkering with stuff. And it's like, I'm watching start direction, I'm watching static lie change and then directly influence dynamic lie. And I'm going, okay, this is really cool. You guys are onto something. And
right, and that's stuff that for the general golfer, like what you just said, might sound like golf nerd babble. That's all the stuff that kind of matters. Like a lot
Yep.
of
yeah,
that stuff really, really matters, right? Like, so anyway, I just think, like, again, I said you see this at WRX because Cobra to me was, you always had Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist with like the three big ones, and you'd have Ping. Was still one of the big ones, but like you always put those top three because they have golf balls, right? And then you put Ping down here, and then Cobra was always kind of like sometimes next to Ping, sometimes not as high as Ping, and I've always felt like Cobra could be up there with the TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaways. Like they've always had great product. They have great athletes. They have a great tour team. They have brains like Mike Yagley. Um, the very forward-thinking company. So again, I would just love to see them find a really, really fun lane that's uniquely theirs and just go blow it out and have everybody else chase them. I think that would be a really, really cool story to tell.
I think the biggest issue with Cobra is they don't have a brand. They don't have a brand identity. Like if you turned to me and said, "What's their like?" I know their identities. They're always tech forward, all of that kind of stuff. But if you look at the general consumer, for me, I think the biggest hard thing is it's hard for people to get attached to Cobra because it doesn't feel like they've much of a brand identity out there.
And that's fair. Like it started getting confusing once they left Acushnet, and it's not on purpose. It's just kind of where they fell. Like when they were with
Right.
Titleist, it was like the young part of Titleist. So all the young players like Camilo Villegas and Ian Poulter, all the Jay Linderberg guys were like Cobra athletes, right? Jeff
yeah,
Ogilvy, JB Holmes was like the random weird country boy that was playing Cobra stuff. But like all the rest of the guys were like fit, cool dressers, this and that, right? And then I think they just never quite. And then they signed Ricky, so they were still kind of in the. And then they just never really blossomed. And I think I don't want to say they're stuck in Ricky Fowler branding because Ricky Fowler's
Yeah.
obviously a big name and a cool player, and he's really, really good for the game and he's playing good. But like they haven't quite, like you said, Wade, they haven't quite identified, like, no, this is who we are. Like this is what we do. And to me, if I was going to brand the company and like kind of rejigger the Puma Cobra thing, I would literally take Ben Showman and go, we're going to build the whole brand off of this guy. Like who's their head of sports marketing. Ben Showman is like the coolest looking person you've ever seen in your life. He looks like a Navy SEAL meet 80s WWF wrestler. Like if you had
that likes
Macho
to surf.
Man Randy Savage and a Navy SEAL and like they had a child, that's Ben Showman.
I'd also bring King back. I think dropping the King was a mistake as well.
Yeah. So anyway, I know we're going
Cobra with the crown. That logo is incredible.
Yeah, Johnny, you got to make sure for the nugget that you just added there for Cobra Puma. Make sure they send you some socks. That's all I'm saying. You got to get some.
I don't know if I need any socks. I just stole 2 pair. I'm good for at least a week or two. So, we did go over today, but obviously, boys, great show. It's nice to have the band back all on the same screen again. But if we want to find anybody, just really quick, Wade, how do they find you on IG if they want to ask you any obnoxious questions? What do you got?
Wade M7 WADHM and then the number 7 on Instagram.
And K-Mac, if people want free equipment, they DM you at what on IG?
Yeah, free equipment. You can DM me and I'll connect you with Johnny and Jack. and they'll make sure that they take care of you there. Yeah. And
Okay. So you're
if
not
you
gonna.
want shoes, I'll connect you with Wade. I'm just kind of a middleman.
If you
It's
want
almost like
if you want problems, you go to Johnny_Wunder on my IG. I'll create some problems for you. Well,
yeah,
thanks,
K
boys. That was
McCormack
fun.
82 for me. I
Okay.
get lots of DMs. It's fun. I like talking gear.
Yeah, we like to answer questions. So if you guys have any questions for us, I mean, we're all pretty responsive. I know we all do. We're pretty active on social. So if you guys have any questions on gear, anything specific we didn't talk about on the show, go ahead and shoot us a DM. And if it's a good question, we always answer good questions, don't we?
Yes, sir.
So you guys have a good rest of the week. And we'll follow up. What do we got next week? Don't we have, isn't there like a Kris Vauchal episode coming here pretty soon? Mizuno?
And we've got Mizuno episode coming. We've got the boys at Bentinardi. We did a little something with our friends at Golf Pride. We've got
Oh, that's
Jillian
right.
from Pajamas Golf, and Johnny, you and I were talking about Pajamas Golf, and you're going, "What the hell is that?" Hey, this guy is a mad scientist when it comes to the cool customization of wedges and irons, and what he can do with stamping is awesome. Yeah, but he's going to be coming on the show. So we got a lot coming down the pipeline here.
Do you know what we need to do, though, before we wrap this up? We need to kind of put a list together of some players that we want to pull on this show to ask them some questions. I would really like to get, I got to get Rocco on this show. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to get Rocco on this show pretty soon, because
That'll be fun.
You think I talk a lot. You should see that guy.
We can all smoke cigars and have a chat.
Have a chat.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
You're gonna have to. He's gonna go over the F word limit for this show. I know we always drop like 3 or 4 in an episode. Like we're gonna have to, like, Mark's gonna have to do some production work on that one, because he's not afraid of the F word.
Just an explicit label with Rocco.
Where we say like it's like this or like that, he replaces like with the F word.
He's the singer from The Hangover. Yeah, fucking every now and then I fall apart.
Yeah, basically. And I need you now tonight. I fucking need. Okay. Anyway, that's Fully Equipped, episode 283. Love you, boys. Have a great rest of the week, and we are going to turn this off now.